Today I thought I'd try something a little bit different. I know that some of the lenses I use are really expensive and out of a lot of people's reach. So today I thought I would try and put my macro lens onto my camera, which is full spectrum, and see if I can take macro shots using UV. There must be too much glass in the macro lens because it doesn't work. So I thought, well, there's no point showing you a whole bunch of black where I can't see an image. Let's talk about the macro lenses and what they can do and how they can work and what you can buy that's out there. This is a very expensive lens. It's the Mickyj 65, which is built just for macro. It does nothing but macro. As well as exploring that, I've also got a USB attachable macro and also a Sigma 105 macro. All of these behave in different ways. Now, the USB macro obviously needs a computer attached to it, but that's just really a 2 megapixel webcam with a light in the front designed to get down nice and low. I'll show you some images from that a bit later. It's also got zoom functions and things on it. The 105 macro is really great for portraiture and things like that, and taking up close pictures from a distance. And then you've got the Mickyj 65, which is designed to get in really close, but a lot more difficult to use, a lot harder to get good depth of field, and also needs a little light. Otherwise your shadow's covering something up, you can't see it through the viewfinder. So let's have a look at the Mickyj 65. So it's got your standard EF mount. Obviously it's quite a heavy lens, so it's got its own tripod mount there. Plus you might want to get in very close to something and very still. It winds out, so you've got to be mindful how far you are from your subject. And this of course creates a shadow which you obviously want to avoid, so you need to be in a well lit area. But the magnification on this is absolutely massive. So I'm going to attach this to the camera I'm now filming with, and we're going to go in for a bit of a deeper look and see what we can see. So this is a manual focus lens, and I need to get my eyes checked, so my glasses aren't the greatest for this at the moment, so I'm hoping that's focused. This is about 4 inches away of the same flowers I was going to use for my UV experiment. As I wind out the lens, the tip of the lens is going to get to within 1.6 inches of subject. So just be mindful if you're unwinding into something that's going to damage the front of your lens, and of course the shadow that you create. Now I'm going to start touching the lens, so it might wobble a little bit, but that's obviously quite far out. Now I'm getting dark, so I'm just going to change where I'm focused to see if I get some light. So I'm obviously zooming in quite a bit. I'm only now just touching 3 times normal zoom. I started at 1 times. I'm actually touching the table. So I've just pushed my lens into the table. So when I get to this sort of sticky situation, if you can, I kind of try and move the subject. In this case, there we go. A little bit of focus there. We're right zoomed in there. Might be best to take all those flowers away and put just one back. There we go. Just going to tilt the camera a little bit. So that's in the head of that flower that you saw before. And obviously with this type of thing, it's good to stack your photos so you can get proper focus. Now I'm going to lift the barrel up a little bit so it doesn't touch the table, and I'm going to try and hold a flower the right distance away for maximum magnification. Let's see if we can see something. There we go, there's a petal. Black mass. This is where you need your extra light for focusing and also to illuminate the subject. You see stamens and all sorts of stuff. They're in really close now. So close, in fact, that you may actually damage your subject, so you've got to be very careful. And of course, the lens being wound out is now very front heavy. So again, it's on a tripod. And every little move you make, every little shake will come up. You can actually see the pollen on there, which is pretty cool. We'll try this same flower, I think, under the USB microscope in a minute. Sorry, macro scope. Now this is your true macro. I'm in really far. This lens is just for macro. So why do they make a 100mm portrait lens that can do macro? Well, in this case, my subject's not alive. I've picked it, and I can get in very close. But with your other macro lenses, being macro, they're a lot sharper, especially good for portraits. But you can be a lot further away from your subject. So I'm going to wind this lens back and put on the Sigma 105. That's the other thing I found with this lens, is you're constantly moving things around to try and get them in and out of focus. You are dealing with just the merest of millimetre movements and to get yourself in and out of focus. So if we wind the other way again, there we go. Takes a lot of patience to use this lens. A lot of patience. Great for spiders and bugs and stuff. Alright. Probably not the best video, but you get the idea of how difficult it is and how much magnification you can get. And obviously if you're still and taking still shots, you take your time. You're not doing a video, so you obviously get a much better photo out of it. So now I'm hand holding the Sigma 105, and as you can see, I've got the MPE there fully wound out all the way. We're going to zoom in on these same flowers, and you can hear the camera auto-focusing. So I'm getting fairly close, but I'm still about half a foot away. Getting almost to the limits of the lens now. So I'm not that close. I'm still not disturbing the subject, but I'm not getting the same macro shots, obviously. Still with the Sigma 105, and as you can see, I can get in to animals and things like that that would normally be dangerous to me, like bees. It's still hard to track them, of course, they're moving. Easier to film something that's dead, but that's not the aim of the game here. So I'm safely a foot away, filming little bees doing their thing. But obviously I can't macro in as much as I could with the MPE 65. And there's an unexpected find in the garden. We've got a duck sitting on 6 eggs. There we go. And of course I'm standing quite a way back so the duck's not scared, using my macro Sigma 105. Couldn't do that with the MPE 65, but I can get in close. And of course the other good thing about having a macro 105 is you've got the ability to zoom out as well, look at the wider world. You're not looking just down at the very small. Can't do that with the MPE 65. But the MPE 65 is really good for getting into small detail, really small detail. So they've both got their place in the world. Macro, built into 105 for taking portraiture or walking around taking photos at a distance of small items, or the MPE 65 for getting really close. Australian 5-cent piece under full macro. Zooming out a little bit. And at 1 times view with the MPE 65. And with the Sigma 105, this is the macro. Obviously quite a difference in macro extension. Not able to get anywhere near the MPE 65.